Good morning to all. Now, in the series of the comparative work for the various databases, now I'm going to showcase to you yet another paper, which is my favorite one. I really fall in love with this particular paper, and this is titled as Google Scholar, Microsoft Academic, Scopus, Dimensions, Web of Science, and Open Citations COCI, a multidisciplinary comparison of coverage via citations by Alberto Martin, Mike Thelwall, Enrique Orduna Malia, and Emilio Delgado Lopez Sozar. And this was in Cytometrics and published in 2021, and these are the details about it. Now, why I'm sharing this particular paper, let me take you through each and everything, and then you can understand why I really loved this particular paper and enjoyed reading it also as I was taking care. Now, this is the abstract, and just have a look at it, and very quickly I'm reading it, and not just reading, I would say. However, I'm more interested to understand new sources of citation data. For example, they have mentioned over here very clearly, new sources of the citation data have recently become available through the databases like what? Microsoft Academic. Then there is something else, the new one which none of us have explored till, that is Dimension, and Open Citations Index of Cross Reference, Open DOI to DOI citations, which is called as the COCI or COCI, you can call it. Then a lot of work has been done to cover. They have making it very clear, like for example, in the case of the Web of Science, here we are, Web of Science code collection, then Scopus and Google Scholar. However, they're making it systematic evidence of their differences across the subcategories has not been done. So here, that is their reason they have entered, and you can have a look at the other discussions. Let me directly enter into, and they have done such a in-depth study about these databases that you would really try to understand and see what is the beauty of this particular paper. So here, without anything, let me proceed further, and this is published in Springer. So this is the timeline that they have discussed about the various things that they are doing it, and how Microsoft, so it's a chronological discussion that they have given to you. Okay, so you can see, for example, they have started off saying that the first scientific citation indexes was developed by the Institute for Scientific Information, that is ISI. Okay, after that, the Science Citation Index SCI was introduced in 1964, and later by that, you came up with Social Sciences Citation Index in 1973. So 64 to this thing, you can see the difference. And in later on, we came up with the Arts and Humanities Citation Index in 1978. In 1997, these citation indexes were moved under the name of what they calling as the Web of Science out here. They have mentioned it very clearly, and these things are also taken forth like conference proceeding citation, book index, and emerging citation, blah blah blah. So they have entered into it. Then they are talking about WS, Elsevier, Scopus, how they have started coming into the picture, and what happened to Google Scholar, how Google started entering the picture, that they have taken care. And in 20 Microsoft, in they're telling you that it started off in 2006. Microsoft launched Microsoft Academic Search, but retired in 2012. Okay, and later on they came up with, again after 4 years of gap, in 2016 they launched a new platform called Microsoft Academic. Okay, wherein they made it with the help of the Bing's web crawling infrastructure. So like Google Scholar, Microsoft Academic is free academic search engine, but however, like Google Scholar, Microsoft talks about facilitates bulk access to its data via an applications programming interface, which I have to cover it up. First I thought, let me go ahead with the comparison part of it, and then I will move towards the Microsoft Academic in depth. depth basically. Then digital science in 2018, so just 2 years ago, digital science launched Dimensions database, and this is again a freemium model in which basic search browsing functionalities are available. However, it requires the payment, and this we will see, and this fee can be waived for non-commercial research projects. So if you are not doing a non-commercial one, you don't have to pay, or the fee would be waived off. That's what they're telling to you. Then we are talking about COCI data sets also, which are available, so and so forth. They have discussed a lot. What interested me to select this particular paper is the manner that they have given you the entire this thing. However, there are they have made it very clear that other citation indexes are also present, like you have got CiteSeer X developed by Pennsylvania State University, and you will see that CiteSeer X talks about HR, talks about any topic, and they give you a lot of things available for you. ResearchGate is one more area which really generates its own citation index, and full text documents are also available. I'm not supposed to speak more. Each one of us are aware of ResearchGate. If not, then maybe I should go ahead and talk about it. Then Lens Organ, the third one that they're talking about, Lens Organ, I'm saying, so sorry. Lens org integrates Microsoft academic, number one, cross-reference PubMed, and number of patent dataset. Then you have got Semantic Scholar. All of us are aware of this one also. Then there are also regional and subject-specific citation indexes, which are quite a lot in number, and I think we will have to cover it separately in the Excel sheet to showcase how many of them are there. Now, if we enter into the the discussion with our focus on, they are calling it as the veterans like WS, Scopus, and Google Scholar. They're saying that there are a lot of things that you can understand, like for example, what all things you can see in Scopus, what all things are visible. That's why I said just verbally speaking does not look good. I need to take you to those websites in order to showcase what all things are available. Microsoft Academic, definitely yes, I have given you the introduction and I have already shown some part of it, though I did not enter into the depth of the Microsoft Academic. So goes for Google as well as for the Web of Scopus, Web of Science, or Scopus also. Now I'm going further, and they have discussed, so I have already shared the title. You can look and read the other part. I'm coming to the visualizations and the other part, wherein they have discussed in depth lot of things which are there. For example, their research question is how much overlap. Now you see, this is the question which each one of us raises sometimes, is that how much you see overlap is present. For example, okay, yeah, here we are. You can have a look at it. Yeah, yes, how much overlap is there between Google Scholar, Microsoft Academic, Scopus, Dimensions, WS, and even COCI in the citation that they find to the academic documents and vary for this one. So this is what their research question is basically. And now the way they have taken care of the analysis and the way they have interpreted it, I'm not going to read line by line. This is not the forum for that. However, you will see, just wait, the visualizations are there and we can go directly to that particular. Yes, now the tables would be coming in. If you will see the tables yourself, that is what is important for me. Number one, these are the seed documents. What are seed documents? The random generation of it that you are taking care. Here they have mentioned for Google Score, citations were so many. For Microsoft Academic, you can see Scopus, you can have a look at it. Dimensions, you can see WOS is also there, and COCI. And somehow they are forgetting about another database which I really like it, which I'll be showcasing to each one of you, is what I call it, I mean, not I call it, it is there already, which is ERIC. Now ERIC is also one of the sources database which is there, and a lot of things are available over there. We will see that also in depth, and that must be included for the future studies also, along with Amazon research papers. Now we will see those things again separately. And further going, this particular paper, okay, this is the analysis part they have come into. Now the discussions I'm not entering because we have not yet got introduced to them, so no use talking. For me, what is interested is these kind of tables, matching ground. So you see what happens is that sometimes I see students coming and saying that, okay, I have done my review of literature. I ask them, how many times have you read that particular paper, or how many times did you use the Google Scholar? Answer is once. No, you cannot do it like that. You need to go separately, and then the authentic review of literature or the systematic literature review has been taken care of. So for example, in this case, you can see they have taken care in 5 rounds. So the data sources that were matched was between WS and Scopus, first one. Master one, we will see what does this mean, dimension. Then, whatever this particular thing matches came in, that into, or you can say with dimensions, they compared it. Then whatever was churned out here, this is basically the churning out analysis. The second one they have taken with Microsoft. Similarly, after completing with that, with Kokai, then with the Google Scholar. Okay, if you want to drill down further, do this one with ERIC is also there. Then you can do it with Amazon, that is also present for you. In fact, I would say that there are domain specific databases. You should start off from there also, rather than just with the common ones like these ones. No, you are not supposed to just focus upon these things only for a good review of literature or systematic literature review. Now comes in our overlapping details that we have to start off, and here you can see, and I'm going very slowly so that you can understand. Now all sources combined, Google Scholar, you can see, gave you how much? It gave you around you can say 88%, Microsoft 60%, Scopus 57%, Dimensions 54%, Web of Science came into 52%, whereas COCI is 20%. So you can understand how beautifully they have done the MDS, and they are showcasing the visualization, and this has been done through, let me tell you, Microsoft, this one, and then they are coming in. Now similarly with Google Scholar, they have shown matching it. Obviously Google Scholar we cannot, so let me just reduce it little bit more so that you are able to render the table properly. Yes, let me show it to you now in this manner. Google Scholar nothing. Microsoft and Google Scholar 61%. This is Scopus is 58%. This is Dimensions is this one, and 55%, and 30% with COCI. If you go with Microsoft Academic and Google, 89%, 77, 80, then 73, 43. So you can see that Google is at the top. Scopus with that 90%, 82, 84, and this one you can compare it now. Dimension, now can you see why Google Scholar is so important? Now here the citation, this is at the level of the citations we are talking about. Okay, and even this one also. So you can see with the Kokai comparatively how the other ones are performing. Now let's see the next one. You see, I'm just going to focus on these visualizations in my video walk more than the printed matter, the rest of the printed matter, that you can read it later on. Here is one more, combinations of data sources. So how they have combined them together to get the output. This is the result. Overlaps of citations found by Google Scholar, Microsoft Academic, Scopus, Dimensions, Web of Science, and Kokai. So here you can see what kind of numbers are being spoken to you in terms of the graphs. Okay, so this goes with this one. Now let me come up with yet another visualization. Here we go. Google Scholar and Microsoft Academic Venn diagram. So you can see where the residuals are more, and how you can go ahead with further research for your variables. Similarly, Google Scholar and Scopus, Google Scholar Dimensions, they have given to you. Don't you find that these kind of things really help you to understand which is a better database to go, and why Google Scholar is more popular as compared to other things? So here they have started off with Microsoft Academic and Scopus. Now you see, this makes your work a little bit richer. That's what I would say. If you have got these kind of a thing, you can deduce, you can speak a lot about your own data. Now comes the third one. The next is analysis by subject areas and categories. So here they're talking in terms of the humanities and social sciences, STEM areas also they are discussing, and the further things. So let's proceed further slowly, and here you can have a look at it, and you can see percentage of citations found by each data source. So Google Scholar number, humanities and arts, Google Scholar give you 87%. So I think take a bow to Google Scholar. Microsoft only 39%, Scopus 31%, Dimensions 29%, Web of Science 25%. I mean, other than some of the visualizations, I don't like to use Web of Science so much. And then comes COCI. Now, social sciences, again 88% goes for the Google Scholar. So I take a bow again for Google Scholar again. Now, Microsoft, you can do the comparative. This is the heat map that they have given. Business and economics management, 88%, again Google Scholar. Engineering and computer sciences, 88%. Physics and mathematics, 90%. Health and medical sciences, 85%. Life sciences and earth sciences, 89%. Chemical and material sciences. So I think we should finally give a final take a bow to Google Scholar and say, hail Google, you are giving us marvelous things for the academic research. And this is for the citations that I'm talking about. Let the fun side be away. Now, this is the reason why Google Scholar turns out to be so popular with all of us, and we know that other databases are there. However, this is the one. So this is relative pair-wise overlaps between data sources overall, and by broad subject areas. So you can see on the if you go column by column, now Google Scholar, Microsoft Academic, Scopus, Dimensions, Web of Science and COCI. If you go by row wise, they have given you, and again they have showcased to you. So humanities, top of the list, you can see how the things are coming up with Microsoft, how the things are, you can see. Social sciences, here again they have given to you as to how you can add, and you can see what is the role played by Google Scholar. Business, this is another way from those upper one that we have taken care. Here they have talking in terms of numbers basically, and then you have the results in front of you telling you that, see, you take up any of the field, you will be finding that these kind of things are available. Now coming for the full overlap. Okay, now if we are talking, they have taken care these things in appendix also, which we will jump immediately if these things are not available, and then we can understand Google Scholar and the new sources like Microsoft Academic and Dimensions. So here the comparative is being taken care of. Now you can have a look at it. Some of you had asked me from where I have got here the paper and the discussion. So you can see with the help of the Google Scholar for humanities, literature and arts. Okay, you have got the blank one is basically the Google Scholar, yellow one is for Microsoft Academic, Dimensions is being taken care by the other one. So you can see 53% is still left out for you to go ahead and not only for the citations, I would say, I don't know how will you render it. However, I would like to go ahead and take the support of Neeraj sir out here when he says, look at this gap, you can see the residuals which are there. So I think I'm happy with that number game of residuals, and I have to take a bow for this particular thing. Social sciences, 45% of residuals are still there for us. Business, economics and management, you can see. Engineering and computer sciences, also physics and mathematics, health and medical sciences. So you can see in overall, leaving out for the domain specific for sciences, rest of the field, I feel we should go ahead with Google Scholar. If you're coming for the sciences, then the domain specific areas are coming in and they are occupying more of the spaces which you can see out here. Okay, so that is in the dimensions as well as in the Microsoft as compared to the Google basically. So have a look at it and try to understand which is more important for us. So this is another plot that we have got for only in Google Scholar. You can see humanities, literature, art, social sciences, business, economics, how and where it is falling in for both in both the data sources, how in, I mean, this has been done so marvelously. This paper had been written that when I was reading it, I myself was enjoying. That's why I said I love this particular paper. I mean, this is how a paper should be written. If you are not just doing the comparative work between two things, however, you're giving the insights to the individuals. Now there we go with the percentage of this one. Then Google Scholar and Dimensions, they have taken care individually now, and the entire thing has been discussed with you in terms of the comparison of the databases. So I think from here you can enter and you can see how nicely they have discussed various things, like this goes for the Scopus rather than for the Google. So for Scopus, how they are taking care, again they have mentioned over here with the help of the Venn diagram, and now individually they are showcasing this one. So I have already cited, please go take up. And similarly with Web of Science, here you have got Web of Science, then Microsoft Academic and Dimensions. So you can see how the things are coming in and in what manner they have used it innovatively to explain and to showcase to you the importance of the databases along with the subjects here in this case. Now let's have a look what else they are discussing. This we have seen, and now they are doing it individually so that the analysis part becomes much more richer for each one of us. So let's see what else we can find out. Softwares, okay, systems, and now they are discussing Microsoft Academic and Dimensions. That fine, I'm not supposed to enter too much of details right now because I'm focusing on the comparative. So here they are even taking care the comparative work between Microsoft and this one, and the limitations. Let me see in appendix what they have discussed. The rest of it is fine. This is the complete list of the Venn diagrams computed. So if you are interested, just take care of this particular paper. You can click on these links which are there and you would be able to see the entire thing. So this is basically through the Shiny apps that they have taken care. No wonder. That is through R only they have, and this is the box plots they have explained it. So I think overall this particular paper gives you the picture about various databases that we have got and the kind of the comparative work that is being taken care of. So I think all of you must have enjoyed with this particular paper also side by side. So let me come up with yet another paper wherein most probably now I should focus on the softwares and how to understand those things rather than just the databases. So keep watching for my next video also side by side. Till then, thank you and take care. Bye.